Yup, I'm being real ratchet right now. But came on here to speak about something regarding my daughter. Um, I'm just feeling something right now, something I can't explain. Of course, I always missing her, but it's slight pressure. Thank God it's nothing heavy, but when she comes to my mind, it's not a heavy heart or anything. It's on my mind, and it's just like in the atmosphere, if that makes sense. And just going back and just rethinking this, thinking about this whole thing again. Again, it's going on 8 months since she's been gone. That's almost a year. That's most of the year, and none of the adults she's around have encouraged her to come and spend time with her mother, who she was raised by for these past couple years, not couple years, 12 years, well, almost 13. It was right before she turned 13 that all this happened. I remember speaking to her, and she was telling me, I said, you think I gotta go through your dad to spend time with you? She said, yeah, I guess. And I'm sitting here like, girl, you and him and whoever else and wherever that came from, that y'all must be out y'all mind, because absolutely not. But because I was the parent that was here. I carried you for one, and then I'm the parent that was here when your dad ended up going to prison for a year, and whatever else, any other times that he went to jail or whatever. And then even when he was out, it was me. So absolutely not. So I always just give it to God. Like for her to even say that and feel like that, I don't know where it came from. But say I just haven't been able to sit down and have that proper conversation with her. And once she got that cell phone and stuff from them, I guess she felt like she can pretty much disregard me. I won't go as far as to say disrespect, because I just didn't let it go that far. I didn't want her to be guilty of disrespecting me, so I led by example and respected her by I stopped calling, I stopped saying anything, because she know who I am and how I am. If I can't speak to you about something real, I don't really want to talk to you. If I can't speak to you about the good, the bad, and the indifferent, I don't want to talk to you. I'm not finna sit down and sugarcoat and sit around you like that. So, and I prefer other people to be like that, but it's rare that people sit around and actually hash out what's really going on beneath the surface. So she said that, and yeah, I'm being ratchet the way I'm recording and everything. I don't care. She had said that, and then of course the actions that followed it, just hanging up in my face and not answering the phone sometimes. And then just remember when her dad had mentioned to me some years ago, she gon' hate you. It's like he was speaking that in the atmosphere, and that's what's seemingly coming to pass. But I asked my daughter, was she operating in hate? She claimed she wasn't. She didn't never clarify what spirit or what it is that she was operating in, and why she was being like she was, as of now, being in that different environment. And then I even went back and I went and visited her for a brief, only like 2 minutes. I spent like $100 to go visit her for 2 minutes. And she really could have just got in the car and went with us. She opted not. She chose not. I just chop it up to maybe she feels like she knows what's best or what's the best environment for her. I do feel like we as individuals need more freedom to choose that, and even if you know at a young age, shoot. But to disregard family or loved ones, the ones that have been there, they sit down and eat with you, sit down and talk with you, all of that, I have an issue with that. That's not how I raised her. I didn't even raise her like that regarding her own people. I never raised her to disrespect them. I did give her certain orders of, hey, you gotta do this, because I seen her dad playing on her emotions and stuff like that. You need to block. You need to, and then he was harassing me and cussing me out and stuff in front of her. And I just wasn't having that. And then, not to mention all the other things, physically showing up at my house, damaging my property, doing this stuff in front of her and my other kids, stuff like that. So, and then the other, these other things, speculations that have went on. But never told her to disrespect anybody. Did teach and tell her to be a decision maker. I guess she's doing that with me. That's fine. I'm not a hypocrite. I want you, it don't matter who it is, I want you to be able to speak up for yourself, stand up for yourself. But I want you to be in right standing when you do it. And that's the thing. It's like I said, I mentioned before, is when grades are failing and stuff like that, she gets snappy. What was it? Was other when it was places that I told her she should not be at, locations. Okay, fine, be with your family, spend time with your family, relate to them, well, with your so-called family, your relatives, should I say? Relate to them and all that. But do you gotta be on at every other location and different locations? No. Do somebody always gotta be over there sitting up under y'all and around y'all? No. They got their own issues. They got their own relatives. They got their own family issues. Can y'all interact and this, that, and the third? For one, it's not my household, so I can't tell who to invite anywhere. But for when you didn't have COVID and all this, you don't need to be. And then there's the Delta variant and all that. You don't need to be sitting around different people. And she has asthma. Last I knew, unless she completely grew out of it in this 8 months. So yeah, it's just a lot. People just continue to disrespect me regarding my parenting. My thing is, I be feeling like, hey, disrespect me on anything else, but just leave my parenting style alone. Leave me alone as a parent. If you ain't got no good intentions or anything like that. And her dad have never had good intentions. He continues to use the excuse that he was a child when we went through certain stuff when we was young. But you was a child, but you was sitting there smoking weed with your mama at 17, probably younger. You was a child, but she let you drive her car. You was a child, but you could sell drugs, or you could be around drugs being cooked up and all that. You could probably make a sale for her when she went home, or stuff like that. This is stuff that I know, that I've seen, that I witnessed. You can commit criminal act as a child, but you could go commit a robbery doing this criminal stuff. But when it comes to relating to me and whatever he did to me, oh, I was a child, I was this, and mainly I'm speaking about this abortion that we had. I was a child, I was this, and then he always claiming he's a better man and this and the third. But he has not encouraged my daughter to speak to me, and I literally heard him in the background saying, I don't know what to tell you, when she was on the phone with me. So your mind is that blank when it comes to having a child with me, that you can't tell her, hey, or encourage her, you need to speak to your mama. No, because you got other intentions. You have bad intentions basically since day one, and I just missed it. And now, you know what I'm saying? And I guess you thought you was going to get away with it. It's, seemingly it seems like he is or whatever, but I'm just still trusting God or whatever with the way I feel regarding missing my child and wanting to spend time with him. Hadn't received a breakthrough, just, regarding being able to spend time, have had certain dreams or whatever, but really God has been quiet on it. And when God is quiet on something, I just try not to get wrapped up in it or whatever, but it ain't a day to go by that I don't think about my child and want to be around her, went from being around her every day, pretty much all day, definitely having access to her, and always encourage her, come in and talk to me if you need me or whatever. That last week before she left here, she would not knock on my door or anything like that. She started reaching out to her dad. She utilized her, because I wasn't saying nothing to her or whatever, but sometimes parents will test you, in a sense. I would say this is a test, but it was a test that I wasn't even really fully understanding. I wasn't really intentionally trying to test her, but that's just the way it played out. And yeah, she didn't knock on my door. My sons continued to knock on my door, like, whenever they needed me. Mom, we need you for this, that, and the third, whatever. She would, I know I did. I started when she was out in the common area. I was in. When I was out, she pretty much stayed in, or either waited until I went out. It was just something going. It's so funny looking back on it, because it was something going on. And like I said, I didn't fully understand. Of course, when she left, I seen certain stuff written in journals and things like that let me know, explained deeper. And I don't know if it's just because of the person that I had my boys with. I don't know if it's because of that connection. I don't know what it is, because I just never in a million years, not that I've even seen a million years, but yeah, a million days even, but I never thought that it would be like this, to where I'm not interacting with about. Not speaking on the phone, you know, and I know, I'm sure people they loving this or whatever. They loving the fact that one of my kids was removed. I was told that you're going to lose all your kids. So, you know, I'm not really trying to worry about it, but sometimes I feel like I got to look over my shoulder when my boy's going to be gone. And, you know, hopefully I said that, and hopefully, you know, it doesn't happen that way just because I spoke it or whatever, but just documenting stuff, the way I feel and the way I think, the way I see things. I'm sure, you know, other people have their perspective or whatever, but they don't sit down and speak about it gracefully. And it could just be because God wants us to mainly pray about things instead of discussing it nowadays more so. But I don't know, it feels like other people can have certain conversations, but when it comes to me, they don't. And I have sat down and had conversations with specifically one person. They would sit down and they would talk to me and just sit through communicating, and I would say very little got resolved in them conversations, but it, you know, it was, to me it was trying to move forward, at least hearing the other side out. You listen to the other person, and I did. I actually recorded the conversation because, you know, it's just another example of I know how to talk to people. Whether they like what I'm saying or not, you know, it doesn't really matter. That whether I like what they're saying or not, you know, it is what it is. So, but yeah, I just wanted to take this quick moment to do that. Then learn how to upload these videos from this Chromebook, so I don't have to do it on my tablet as much unless necessary. And that's just what I'm gonna be doing or whatever. Yeah, it's pretty much gonna be dark. There's gonna be some kind of crazy happening in the background in there, but that's just what I want to do right now. I don't necessarily want to be identified, but I got a lot to say and speak on. And yeah, still miss my daughter, but I'm just praying for her continuously. And hoping that she is being taken care of truly, not just surface things, not just material things, not just the roof over your head, but definitely people paying attention to you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, all of that. And you know, then this coming school year, she's supposed to be in 8th grade. I don't know if she made it or not. Her grades was horrible at the end of the school year, but you know, maybe that's not what stops you. She's getting older, and I think that's wonderful, and I thank God for that. You know, it's been happening to people's kids and stuff left and right, and I feel like I have worked hard, prayed harder for my kids to be safe and stay out of the line of fire, and I use my actions. I just have been really careful, really cautious. Like, no, I'm not gonna get involved in everything. I'm not gonna be invited to everything. And a lot of it's crazy because a lot of stuff, if I do get invited to, it is not good for me. I rarely get invited to anything. I mean, I don't get invited to nothing as of now, but if and when I don't get invited to nothing that's like beneficial, nothing that's really uplifting. I don't know. We did have a lady that was what was she? She was the deaconess at the church that we were members at, and she was calling and reaching out and stuff. She hadn't reached out in a while, but even when I started telling her some of the details of what was going on regarding my life and stuff like that, I mean, she really, and I know she probably got a lot on her plate, but she really just stopped reaching out and refer me to anybody. And I don't want to feel like I'm just dependent on other people, but part of me thought that's what we're here for, to help rely on other people, one another, but it's not like that. And so I do have this one lady who is I don't even maybe so late with one person who is have been present and kind of active in my life, but of course I don't know how soon that will change. As I had another one, and she left out. She used to say, I ain't going nowhere, you know, I just have to do such and such, and the next thing you know, she was gone. And I don't really try to hold that against people. It's like, even if I see this person again, I'm still gonna say, hey, how you doing? But I'm gonna be cautious, like, well, dang, you just up and left, and the way that it happened too. Some of the things she said, but as far as me and my distant, I don't know if I call it a relationship, but my distant situation regarding my mom, yeah, me as an adult, I chose to distance myself. I felt myself like, I don't want to say drifting away, but there was things that my mom did, whether it was said or unsaid, that it just made me really uncomfortable, and I didn't understand it. So in order for me not to misinterpret, I just said, until it can be explained or revealed, I'm going to sit over here, I'm going to keep my distance. But eventually I just decided I didn't like the way that she did certain stuff and how she responded towards me, and yeah, reacted as well. And so I just chose to steer clear of that. Still loving you, still can pray for you, still, had memories, had thoughts of you, but and then I just felt like I got it confirmed in my spirit and within that that's what I need to do. I don't even really miss my mom like that. I think about her, but I don't really miss her. I don't know. I just feel like I just know of her, really. Don't even necessarily fully know her like that. Lived with her for so many years. So, I mean, a lot of times I was put off on my grandma or whatever, but I just don't know. But I do not want that type of relationship with my daughter. Like, and I just never thought that's what would happen. That's what would occur. And I do remember her dad when my daughter was first born, and he was wanting me to bring her to the prison where he was at after when she turned 3 months. And as soon as he held her, the first thing he said, or one of the first things he said was, "This my shit." And I'm just sitting here like, how, who, what? That disturbed me just as well as the lady who held my son and was like, you don't want to open your eyes because you don't want to see the devil. Like, why would you, when you hold somebody's kids, why? Even if it's your own child or whatever, why would you, I just didn't understand that. So that right there was a red flag, definitely. So that was a red flag regarding him. It was so long ago, because she's 13 now. But I remember it clear as day when he said that, and he just like grabbed her. He had her in his right arm, I think, and he like moved her. She was small enough for him to hold her with one arm, and he moved her like to his right side and almost behind him, like away from me. And who'd have thought 13 years later, that's what it seemed like he's doing. I mean, it's like you're shield. I don't know, and I want parents to shield a child from a bad parent or somebody that is really trying to harm a child. But as far as encouraging distance between a parent and a child that they don't have no issues, they have regular life issues or concerns or whatever, that's not right. But anyway, that's what he did. And then just describing her as, "This my SHIT." And I'm like, what? I mean, I wrote it off as just being ignorant, speaking ignorantly, and I didn't really, I was young, so I didn't think, but just looking back, like, dang, because I never describe my children as that's my or that's my I don't even say that's my child, and I just don't, I ain't gonna lie, I be feeling like saying that, like, almost like they property and stuff like that, but they're not property, they don't belong to me. I carry them, and God gave them, God gave them to me. And so, I'm grateful, but it really irks me because never did I see this coming at all. Her being removed from my household, and again, the other person that was involved with the removal process, like, you don't even like her dad, so maybe something that you didn't like her. I don't know. Anyway, that's a whole nother ball game. But and then especially the not talking, but when she uses somebody else's devices, and I feel like she wants that material stuff more than she has a concern about a relationship with me. And this is my thing. You just don't let stuff trump genuine, authentic relationships with somebody. But anyway, the different times. It's 2021. I did stuff when I was younger. I didn't necessarily do it towards my mom. I did it because I was a child. So I'm trying to keep that in mind. I did it because I was a child. I was young-minded. I was immature. I might have thought I knew it all. But I definitely didn't think I knew better than my parents. But I just knew. I felt like I knew what I knew until this day. I still feel like I know what I know. Can't nobody take it away from me. But I had conversations with my mom when I was younger, when she wanted to or whatever. My daughter knew it was open for her to have conversations with me. She had called when she felt like some kind of trouble or whatever, but then she quickly was like, I guess she felt like she was alright. But anyways, I probably will make so many videos regarding missing my child because it's just It's crazy. And just what got me in this predicament anyway is just when somebody pressed false charges against me, and that goes back to me just hoping that policies are looked into, changed, investigated. Sheriffs, sergeants, all of them are investigated. I ain't worried about no internal affairs. Like other auditors from outside needs to come in and investigate. Like some of them need to go undercover. Seriously, because it just don't make no sense at all. Like the things that's being done. I'm kind of scared to go up to the FBI because I just feel like even still there, that's where you really start getting ready to get knocked off when, because they feel like, oh, this person is a smart aleck or they know too much or whatever. You know, who knows? So I just feel like now it's just street justice. That's what I feel like options are. I'm not saying this is what it is, but it's street justice, or you gotta wait somebody out till they die or get sick, or what I'm saying, something like that. Whatever. I'm not trying to sound harsh, but I just have little to no support system. Then I'm just dealing with some stuff that I have concerns about, and I'm just like, how's this gonna turn out? But anyway, I'm about to hop off here. It's 21 minutes. That's good enough.